You're listening to the Telltale Channel. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check out my Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. There were a lot of really good signs at the No Kings protest. I just want to go through this list of the top 40. I've seen some of my own that were really good, but this is written by Ron Filipkowski. ICE has no heart. GOP has no courage. Trump has no brain. Scarecrow, Cowardly Lion, and Tin Man themed. That's pretty good. I'm going to try to describe them for the audio audience, too. Childhood vaccines cause adulthood. And I love the little Nemo fish on her head. That's top tier. Don't be a dictator. Okay, we're going to skip right past that one. Waiting for the Epstein files and a skeleton. That's awesome. What is this? Is this West Virginia in the top right corner here?
It's just America.
Okay.
America and West Virginia look very similar.
They weirdly do. Interesting. Trump hit on my girlfriends.
And it's a 12-year-old.
That's pretty funny. I like that one. Qualified for cabinet position. I shot my dog. I drink too much. Anti-science. Pro-FA? I don't know what FA is. Do you?
No.
Own makeup table, not a beardo, and can do a push-up. And also we have a windmill cancer survivor here.
The dude holding that sign, the qualified for cabinet position, is dressed as a clown.
That's awesome. I love it. Imagine losing your country to a fat... I guess I'm going to have to say it and I'll censor it later. Imagine losing your country to a fat that can't even blend his makeup. I know, it's bad. Seriously.
Do you see that sign in the corner of Trump as a baby wearing a diaper?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember this, but long ago, back, I think maybe Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in New York City, somebody had a gigantic baby Trump float.
I don't remember that.
And Trump did not like that very much. He was very unhappy.
Someone said fascist. FA is fascist.
Oh, okay.
Because Antifa.
Oh, yeah, okay. That makes sense. Here you go.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, a baby Trump float. Well, there was never a baby Trump float in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. Baby Trump protest balloon has appeared at various events. Well, where was it then, I wonder? Anyway, I thought that was top tier. All right, let's see. What else we got? Gnomes against gnome. I love it. What appears to be a very short person against Kristi Noem.
That's so cute.
MAGA, stop using Jesus as an excuse to be an asshole, for Christ's sake.
They should have a lot of people put the date so that you can't, because MAGA was claiming that the turnout rate was actually lower and edited and whatever, so people put the date on their signs.
I've said this previously, but, I said this on the line last night, but the original No Kings protest in June had 5 million people. This one had 7 million people, which is an incredible feat. Getting people to show up to a second protest, like even the same number of people, is just not, it just doesn't happen. The fact that we grew the number for this No Kings protest means that there is sustained political awareness, which is so incredibly important. These are the two largest protests in U.S. history, 5 million and 7 million. The largest right-wing protest had between 150 and 350,000 to 7 million. And that one was a pro-life rally, I believe, in Washington, D.C., not too long ago. The previous record breaker was 3.3 million women's march in 2019, I believe. The largest far-right UK protest was 110 to 150,000 people. The largest recent U.S. conservative protest was about 350,000. That was in 2018, the March for Life. So the No Kings protest was 50 to 70 times larger than the largest right-wing protest. That is a phenomenally good sign. That should give us hope.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
Check out this one. JD was here, and it's a big couch.
It's a couch.
Gotta love it. All right, so that's the top 10, 1 to 10. Here's
11 to 20.
11 to 20. Grab him by the neck. Yeah, grab him by the neck. We'll leave it at that.
Because of what he said about women.
Yeah, and his neck looks really weird. OMG, you guys, that is not what I said. And it's Jesus with a rainbow halo.
Face palming.
Yes. Pay no attention to the Nazi behind the curtain. And it's Stephen Miller with devil horns. Absolutely, dude. This guy is a Nazi, like a full-blown Hitler-loving, Sieg-heiling Nazi, an extremist. Disturbing how powerful full-blown Nazis have become in the United States.
Grantifa, Grandmas Against Fascism.
Yes, Grantifa, Grandmas Against Fascism. Love it. No kings. I wonder how many people came up to the hands-off protest. You guys remember that? I think in April, maybe? Fun fact, the Boston Tea Party was a protest against a tariff. That's true. That is 100% true. It was. Did you know?
Yeah.
That's absolutely...
That's like that was the entire point of it. No taxation without representation, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we're taught in, I think 4th grade is when I had the heaviest Boston Tea Party teachings, but now I'm in A-Push, so it's going to get back there.
And people seem to misunderstand what a tariff is. We pay the tariffs. You know that, right? It's not being charged to another country. It's us. Like, we are the ones that pay those taxes. You are asking for higher taxes in the United States when you say tariffs are good.
And if it was being charged to another country, if that was the entire point, the reason we pay these taxes is because when the, what's it called, like the distributor, when the distributor has to pay more for their product, they're going to make the consumer.
They pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah. So that they can keep their profit. If I'm making $5 by buying this thing and selling it, and then the price to that goes up by $8, I'm not going to sit there and make like -3. I'm going to raise the price up. I'm going to raise it another $8.
Right. That's just how it works. And Trump kept saying, Walmart better eat the cost of the tariffs. Like, really? You think Walmart is going to eat the cost of tariffs? Give it a rest. I mean, it's absurd. This is such an anti-capitalist take if he really believes that. It's just insane. Anyway, a lot of people don't realize that we pay those tariffs. By the way, the hands-off protest, April 5th, had 3 to 5 million people. That means it's not just the protest or the brand that's drawing in people. It's absolute political unrest right now. I know signs. I make the best signs. They're terrific. Everyone agrees. That's good. I like that. Taco hell.
You should have done the Trump voice for that one.
I can't do the Trump voice.
I know signs. I make the best signs.
I'll tell you what. I'll do it. I got it. This is my Trump voice.
I know signs. I make the best signs. They're terrific. Everyone agrees.
There you go. It's Chipmunk Trump. So it's the
Taco
best
Bell one. The Taco Bell one has Trump's hair on it.
Is that what it is? Okay, I couldn't figure that one out. Yeah.
Yeah, Trump's hair is up there.
Honk if you're not in the Epstein files.
We the people radicalized by basic human decency.
That's funny. Deport Stephen Miller back to Satan's butthole. Okay, I appreciate that. Don't blame me. I listen to the Midas Touch. Wow. Okay, Midas Touch is Ron Filipkowski's network. I don't know if you're familiar.
No, I'm not. The Midas Touch podcast.
Yeah, the podcast is the largest. It dethroned Joe Rogan recently as the largest podcast.
Interesting.
Yeah. Surprised you haven't heard of him.
No.
Here's another one. If no mentally disturbed person should have an assault weapon, should a mentally ill president have an army? It's a good question. Trump gave my nut to Argentina. I think this is in reference to the South Park episode where he was saying, I have to make my nut, which is like the amount of money you need each month to spend or whatever.
Yeah, the amount of money you get each month. And they're wearing a blow-up chipmunk costume. Next to them, wait, let me see. Next to them, there's a unicorn.
Yeah.
There's a person in a unicorn inflatable costume.
Big fan. I guess they're kind of talking about furries or whatever. Are your grocery receipts lying to you, or is Trump? I hear so many people say, my grocery prices haven't gone up. My gas prices haven't gone up.
Mine are down. Mine are lower than they were.
And it's like, no, they're not. They are not lower. They are higher. I'm sorry. I cannot accept people's delusion like this. I'm not going to affirm people's delusion, you know?
The blow-up costumes, I believe, are because it's more... One, you can't see the face of someone in a blow-up costume. And two, it's more difficult for ICE to get you.
Yeah,
because for other people to get you.
Because you're less aggressive. You're not presenting as aggressive. Yeah.
And also, it's difficult to get someone who's in a blow-up costume.
Obviously, I don't believe circumcision causes autism, but the evidence linking micro to fascism seems to be adding up. Okay, I'm going to have a lot of censoring to do in this. Yeah, for the record, circumcision is bad. Don't do it. First, they came for the media. Then we don't know what happened after that.
That's so
That's good.
funny.
I like that one. If there's any justice, Big Beautiful Bill will be the name of Trump's cellmate. That's funny. Big Beautiful Bill. I like that. That's good. I like that sign a lot.
It's an old dude holding it too. That's great.
Yeah.
Help! Why am I agreeing with Marjorie Taylor Greene?
I know. Have you seen that?
I haven't heard. No, what did she say?
She's saying some very reasonable things right now. Primarily, release the Epstein files. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. We shouldn't be protecting people if they're in the Epstein files, even Donald Trump. Yeah. She's been saying a lot of that stuff, and she's been saying a lot less fully MAGA stuff. So there's that. I caught the woke mind virus, and all I got was empathy and critical thinking skills. I love the frog. That's a cute sign.
Here lies science, evidence-based. Here lies science, evidence-based medicine, 1543 to 2025.
The dude sitting there, and it's a gravestone shape. That's cool. Here's one. Sorry for being weird. This is my first dictatorship, and it's a guy in a Squidward blow-up thing. I love that.
So many traitors, smooth operators, but I'm never gonna break that vow. And then it's
Is that
the
a song?
declaration. Yeah, smooth operator. Yeah.
I don't know the song. Interesting. That was good. And here's another one. Here
I like these. Can we read more than just this?
Yeah.
Mike Johnson blocked me on Grindr.
Have you heard about this?
No. I've heard about when there's a conservative like meetup, Grindr crashes in the area.
There was a guy who famously came out and said something like, Mike Johnson, if you don't hold a vote on the floor of the House in 3 days, I am going to publicly release your Grindr profile. And everybody believes that Mike is on Grindr now. I'm not really convinced of it, but it was pretty funny.
It gets hilarious.
Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally. So it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that. Which restroom should castrated Republicans in Congress use? That's funny.
Billionaires are the only minority hurting America. Yeah, there was I saw a video recently of a pastor saying the exact same thing. Like, he got up in front of his church and he was screaming that we need to stop being worried about immigrants and gay people and whatever else, because billionaires are the only minority who are actually harming us. They are the minority we need to be worried about.
Absolutely. And her shirt says, what does it say? Something paid? No, I hate.
Oh, I hate here.
Free.
I hate here for free.
Yeah.
Because paid protest.
Yeah. Scott Jennings listens to Nickelback. Okay. Do you know Nickelback?
Yeah.
Apparently,
I don't know the correlation.
Are you aware that everybody hates Nickelback and everyone makes fun of the people who actually like Nickelback?
No.
Oh, yeah. It's famously very, very hated as a band just because people say that they absolutely suck. I don't actually think they suck that much. They're not like top tier. They're like new metal kind of whatever. But I'm not sure who Scott Jennings is either.
I know Scott Jennings. Stephen Miller. Okay, you read this.
Stephen Miller is a quack. There is a claim that, well, Stephen Miller's wife went to work for Elon Musk. Did you hear?
No, I didn't.
She quit her job at the White House and went to work for Elon Musk.
Really?
Yeah, and everybody says that's kind of weird. That's odd. That the deputy chief of staff's wife would go work for Elon Musk, leaving Trump behind. Interesting.
Right.
F Trump, his whole cabinet, Elon, ICE, and the Dallas Cowboys. Okay.
Dallas Cowboys is my friend's football team.
Not sure why we threw them in there, but all right.
Texas, probably. The gospel's anti-fascist. Yeah.
100%. Absolutely.
No.
Not a terrorist, just a former Republican.
Former terrorist, son.
Yeah. I mean,
no.
We say that as a joke, but look, hold on. Have you seen this image at CPAC 2022, I believe? Yeah, 2022. We are all domestic terrorists. This is real. They really put this up there. We are all domestic terrorists. What am I supposed to think when they do things like this? What am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to interpret their actions?
It's taken out of context. Like, what context could fix this?
There
No
is
context.
no context.
No context changes what this is. At this point, you have to pay me not to protest.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Those were the top signs. I thought those were really interesting.
I'll get more.
Anyway, yeah, tell what you think about it in the comments. I like it. And I've seen others. You guys should take a look around for some. They were good. Tell me your thoughts.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com.
I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. All right, this is a guy named Joshua Haymes. Reformation Red Pill is the name of his podcast. Just let me introduce you to him. Just listen to what he has to say here.
The institution of slavery is not inherently evil. I know. Some of you guys are upset by that. Some of you guys are saying, I've been saying that for years.
He's a Christian nationalist. And what's more, he knows Pete Hegseth. He had him on his show. And he says slavery is not bad.
Okay, I'll take it a step further. It is not inherently evil to own another human being. I know. Just wait. Some of you guys are really upset, but let's talk through this because it is very important that every Christian affirm what I just said. And not only should they affirm it, every Christian in today's society should be able to defend what I just said. Okay? Every Christian.
And the bottom line with his argument is the Bible talks about slavery being a good thing, and he supports that. That's the argument. That is insane. This dude is absolutely off his rocker.
Should be able to defend it. Big evangelicalism has been getting this wrong for years, basically since the Genesis, since the advent of Big Eva. They haven't had a good answer for the slavery issue. All right, Christians in America have been led astray on this topic. They've been led to believe things that the Bible doesn't teach. And when we go beyond the Bible, there are dire consequences.
When we go beyond the Bible, which is to say eliminate slavery, there are dire consequences. Insane.
So what happens when someone enslaves him and treats him
He'll
terribly,
never be
monstrously?
enslaved. He'll never be enslaved, of course, because he's white, and white people aren't enslaved, you see.
Because he's white and a Christian and whatever else.
Disgusting. This is Pete Hegseth showing up and talking to this guy on his podcast about Christian nationalism.
These are lost institutions. We need to start our own.
We've got to start our. I wonder. This is what I wonder, though, is if we did this, if we recaptured K through 12 education and actually educated our children to fear and love the Lord as Christians, applying all of Christ to all of subjects and all of life, if the natural outflow of that would be in 2 generations recapturing the institutions that, because that's the thing that's so frustrating is Christians built these institutions.
Yes.
And then we
No, they didn't.
abandoned them. You know?
I mean, we spend a portion of the book or in the series explaining the origins of Harvard and Princeton and all these institutions founded by ministers.
Okay, I don't know if they were founded by ministers. And also, Pete Hegseth is part of the government. As a government agent, he was talking about rebuilding the government in the image of Christian nationalists. Harvard and other universities are in a gray area. They're not private institutions, but they're not public institutions. They're tax-exempt institutions. And anything related to society that all of society uses and needs shouldn't have a religious purpose like that. Because everybody in society needs access to this stuff. Muslims, atheists, and Christians alike. And for the record, Christians did not create these institutions, these government agencies, the FBI, the US government generally. People who were Christian created them. There is a significant difference. These people are straight up disturbing, though. I mean, to say we need to rebuild these institutions in the eyes of Christianity, and also to say we should own slaves, that's too much, dude. Seriously. Listen to this one. This is regarding the Charlie Kirk attack.
The off-ramp is total defeat of leftist liberal ideology. That's the only off-ramp.
That's how we fix society, quote unquote, is to destroy the left.
You just cannot. I'm sorry.
This is at the moment. This is so early on in the Charlie Kirk thing that they believed the right was spreading the idea with absolutely no evidence that the person who killed Charlie Kirk was a left-wing radical who did it for left-wing radical reasons. We now know that the person did it for nihilistic reasons. This is a nihilistic extremist, which means they don't believe anything matters at all, and they wanted to get their name in history. They wanted to put their name down in history because that's the only thing that they could think that would mean anything at all in history. It was a nihilistic extremist attack, according to the FBI. Kash Patel's FBI.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
We have the divisions are too deep. Whenever you're arguing about whether or not you can mutilate children,
nobody is arguing that. Nobody ever argued that. This is delusion.
You're arguing about whether or not it's okay to end the lives of 60 million babies in the womb. I'm sorry, there's no middle ground there.
No, there is a middle ground. You know what the middle ground is? We all live our own lives and do our own thing. And what doesn't affect you personally, you stay out of. And what doesn't affect me personally, I stay out of. That's the middle ground. That's what I'm trying to get to. But in his delusional brain, that is far left ideology. This is the problem with Christian nationalism. They don't just want to let people live their lives and mind their own business. They want to impose it on you. And if you aren't allowing them to impose it on you, then you are the problem. It's twisting and distorting how a society should run. This is fascism. This is the definition this is the difference between fascism and authoritarianism. Think about it this way. In an authoritarian regime, say Stalin was not a fascist. Stalin was an authoritarian. He controlled things with an iron grip, and he persecuted people for political reasons. But if you just lived your life and didn't criticize the government, but just did your thing, you were probably going to be okay. You're probably going to be safe from it. But this is fascism, where even if you aren't like sticking your nose in and trying to change what they're up to or whatever, they're still going to try to impose their will on you because they can't be satisfied with just existing and living their lives and doing their thing independently. They have to control you, everything.
There just isn't. It's Christ or chaos.
They're trying to impose their will. Here's another clip from this dude.
Our founding fathers are rolling over in their graves to hear someone like, whenever they were thinking freedom of religion, they did not have in view Satan being worshipped in our state. They didn't have in view.
Wait, Satan being worshipped what?
In our state. They didn't have in view mosques being erected. They viewed
They literally envisioned freedom of religion. That's what it means. People doing whatever they want in their own personal lives and government being agnostic to that. But again, he cannot deal with people just living their lives and doing their thing independently of him or their beliefs.
They weren't even Christian. Like half of the founding fathers were not Christians.
And Thomas Jefferson, one of the most notable founding fathers who assisted in the creation of the Constitution, was smeared as an atheist during his whole, his run for president. And, maybe he was. He said that he was a deist. He even wrote the Jefferson Bible. Are you aware of this?
I didn't know he wrote the Jefferson Bible.
He didn't really write it, but it was basically the New Testament he took a razor blade and cut out all the magical stuff. And he was left with just the teachings of Jesus, the moral teachings of Jesus. Love your neighbor as yourself and all that other, decent, good stuff. Love the people, love the immigrants around you, things like that. The Jefferson Bible. And these people are rewriting history to be something that it absolutely wasn't. Here's another clip from this dude. I mean, this guy is like deeply disturbing. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a while back, there was a guy named Michael Cassidy. The Iowa State Capitol decided to host a religious day or whatever, with a bunch of religious symbols in the main area. So naturally, the Iowa State Satanic Temple sets up a Baphomet statue because government cannot favor one religion over another. If you're making it available to Christians, you must make it available to Satanists as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they set up this Baphomet statue, and this guy named Michael Cassidy comes in and takes like a weapon and beheads the statue because he thinks it had some kind of satanic, blah, 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 some kind of black magic, blah, 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 you know. And we'll listen to this in a second, but listen to this dude's reaction. I mean, this is a clear as day example of state allowing religion in, and this guy trying to tilt the scales in favor of one religion in government instead of allowing everybody to just live their lives freely and have freedom of religion.
A satanic statue had been erected in the Iowa State Capitol, and while other Christians were racing to their keyboards to write strongly worded condemnations of satanic statues being erected and honored in state capitals.
Dude, are his lips blue? What is going on here? Did he eat a blue raspberry slushy a minute ago or something?
Maybe he's cold.
State capitals in our once great Christian nation. While all the other Christians were racing to their keyboards, Michael Cassidy was racing to the Iowa State Capitol to behead Baphomet. I am convinced that we need 10,000 more Michael Cassidys and Caleb Byrds.
He's saying he wants violence. He wants violence. He wants to solve his problems violently. This is fascism. This isn't authoritarianism. This is fascism.
He looks like he's wearing like a Halloween costume of a zombie or something.
Yes, he does. What?
We need men of action.
Oh, is that the end? Anyway, let's just watch this story because there's this woman in this story. I remember this. This was from 2023. No. Yeah, 2023. This was mid-December 2023.
A satanic temple has set up a display inside the Iowa State House.
This is Inside Edition playing creepy music over it. What is wrong with you, Inside Edition, really?
It's the holiday season, and even secular government buildings display decorations for holidays that are rooted in religion, like Christmas trees and menorahs.
Christmas trees aren't rooted in religion. Menorahs are, but not even really menorahs because it's more of a historical, a cultural story that's told about how during the Maccabean War, the Jewish people in Jerusalem were fighting a rebellion and took over one of their key buildings and didn't have enough oil to power the lamps through the rest of the time they needed it. And, they were suffering because they succeeded in doing what they wanted, retaking the Capitol building or whatever, but they couldn't keep it going long enough, and God protected them by keeping it going. It's more of a cultural story than a religious story exactly. But somebody comes in with a nativity scene or a cross of Jesus or whatever other thing, that's a religious symbol, and it opens it up to other religious symbols being allowed in, which is what happened. Nobody has a problem with Christmas trees being on the Capitol lawn or whatever.
For 14 days, the Satanic Temple has erected a display alongside these major religious symbols inside the rotunda of the Iowa State Capitol. Lucian Greaves, co-founder of the Satanic Temple, spoke to KCCI.
We're connected to Lucian Greaves. Yeah, we know somebody that directly knows him.
We're going to really relish the opportunity to be...
That's him right there. His real name isn't Lucian, obviously, but...
opportunity to be represented in a public forum. We don't have a church on every street corner.
Though the temple went through the correct administrative channels to present in the rotunda, the display is getting pushback.
One, I hope people realize spiritual warfare is real.
Oh, give it a rest, lady, please.
That there are evil, satanic forces that are trying to infiltrate our state.
Iowa resident.
Yeah, in your opinion, that's like me complaining that you have the Christian stuff on because spiritual whatever is real and there are Christian forces trying to go against what I believe in. It's the exact same thing. I said the exact same thing as her, but now I'm wrong because Christianity is objectively right, which it's not.
This is why we don't involve religion in government. This is why we keep it separate. I will live my life over here and you live your life over there, and government will provide the resources that we all need and use, like the roads, like the post office. We don't need to get your religion or mine mixed all in this scenario. Like, they don't seem to understand, these nutcases, that we just want to be left alone and do our thing. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult, and you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
Kelly Flockhart said she was shocked to see the altar at the Capitol.
Well, I was shocked to see the cross at the Capitol. How about that?
She was shocked to see the altar at the Capitol, so she organized a group to pray near the Rotunda's Christmas tree.
Oh, thank Jehovah God that she's there, making sure that there's prayer going on 24/7. Jehovah will protect us.
At least their altar looks cool.
It does.
Everything else is just boring.
Greaves says no one is being forced to interact with the Satanic Temple's display.
My feeling is that if people don't like our displays in public forums, they don't have to engage with them. They don't have to view them.
It's a very dark, evil force.
Yeah, obviously, that's exactly what Christians say when people don't like the fact that, the state capitol has a gigantic cross display.
Someone said we should read the Satanic Bible on stream one day.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not
cool.
really a huge fan of the Satanic Bible generally because it had some weird magical stuff in it. It was written, I believe, by Anton LaVey.
I've never seen or read it.
Are you familiar with its origins?
No, I'm not familiar with anything satanic related.
I believe that Anton LaVey wrote it, and it was supposed to be the antithesis of the Bible, where the Bible says, turn the other cheek if somebody harms you. This says, warn the person, and if they don't stop, absolutely destroy them.
To be fair.
Yeah, I mean, it has some interesting points, but I don't think, there's so much moral ambiguity and confusion in the Bible that basing anything off of the Bible, even as its antithesis, leads to moral ambiguity and confusion as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, I really do like the Satanic Temple, which is different from the Church of Satan, which was created by Anton LaVey. I like the Satanic Temple's tenets, led by Lucian Greaves, who is pretty cool, who we saw just a second ago.
Yeah.
Here you go. The 7 fundamental tenets. One should strive to act with compassion and empathy toward all creatures in accordance with reason. The struggle for justice is an ongoing and necessary pursuit that should prevail over laws and institutions. One's body is inviolable, subject to one's own will alone. That's bodily autonomy. The freedom of others should be respected, including the freedom to offend. To willfully and unjustly encroach upon the freedoms of another is to forego your own. Beliefs should conform to our best scientific understanding of the world. We should take care never to distort scientific facts to fit our beliefs. People are fallible. If we make a mistake, we should do our best to rectify it and resolve any harm that may have been caused. And finally, every tenet is a guiding principle designed to inspire nobility in action and thought. The spirit of compassion, wisdom, and justice should always prevail over the written or spoken word. And I believe that the Satanic Temple, though it is a recognized religion, pays taxes.
Interesting.
Uniquely. Not because they have to, but because they want to,
Yeah.
last I checked. So the point is that the Satanic Temple is actually top tier. They're awesome. And all of the people involved with them. It's a non-theistic religion. They do not believe in a literal Satan. They follow Satan as a literary character, basically. And the interpretation of the Bible that Satan actually won the war between God and Satan and then had them write the Bible as though he was the good guy, even though he very clearly wasn't, seems to make a lot more sense than God is the good guy and had himself written the way that he was written in the Bible. Anyway, the point is, people like this need help, and it's so deeply disturbing, like where we're headed with Pete Hegseth and everything, and Reformation Red Pill, Joshua Haymes. These people are insane. Tell me what you think in the comments.
We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com.
I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, there's this guy named Joshua Haymes. He's on the left here, Reformation Red Pills podcast he leads. He knows Pete Hegseth and has had him on his podcast. He's like this ultra right-wing Catholic nutcase who wants to take over the government in the name of Christianity. And he listened to Nick Fuentes recently. If you don't know Nick Fuentes, he is a full-blown Hitler-loving, Sieg-heiling Nazi. And he had some interesting things to say about Nick Fuentes, so let's give this a listen. Both, I believe, are Catholic. Nick Fuentes is Catholic. I'm pretty sure Reformation Red Pill is too.
Yeah, like this idiot in a live chat says, flat out create a new NSDAP Nazi party. Yeah, great idea, dude. This is what I'm talking about. We should just make another Nazi party like Hitler. It's just like this low IQ knucklehead stuff. It's just got to be driven out. It can't be allowed to dominate. There must be a sustained effort at the very top to suppress that.
What he's talking about, Nick Fuentes, he is a Nazi. NSDAP was the Nationalsozialistische Deutsche Arbeiterpartei, the National Socialist German Workers' Party, which became the Nazi Party eventually. That was just its original name. Anyway, Fuentes believes in that. He just doesn't want it to be so overt and obvious. He wants to kind of sneak it in slyly, you know, the Nazi beliefs. And you can see this happening slowly but surely with pictures like this. This is the California Republican candidate for governor. My 0% unemployment plan. Arbeitmacht. This means work camp. This is a German concentration camp. He has a picture of a concentration camp in the background. That's psychotic.
Brutally and with discrimination, with prejudice. You know, then what is the movement to be based on? Is the movement supposed to be about, being resentful? Because I think resentment is bad, actually. Who will make the new symphonies? Who will make the new cathedrals?
This music is motivational, I guess.
I'm not feeling very motivated.
In a minute, Red Pill Reformation dude Joshua Haymes will come in and explain that he really likes Nick Fuentes a lot. Nick Fuentes has some very down-to-earth, logical, intelligent takes. He's very down-to-earth, logical, intelligent, reasonable person. It's just that he starts from a foundation of race realism. Black people are just genetically inferior. Jews are genetically inferior and genetically evil. That's the foundation he starts from. So when he speaks, he sounds very rational and logical and reasonable, and then he slips in Jews are Satan's pawns or whatever else. When you're not even when you let your guard down, basically. That's what makes him deeply dangerous, in my opinion.
Who will invent the futuristic cities, the new aqueducts, who will write the poetry? Are these people that are going to be grumbling Matt Walsh's bitching about anti-white racism? No. No.
He's also anti-Trump now. He burned his MAGA hat recently. Nick Fuentes did. A lot of people are turning on Donald Trump right now, not because he did something they don't like, but because they see the writing on the wall. He's old, and they're trying to set up a new successor. Trump should be setting up a successor right now, actually. Dictatorships fall during transfers of power, and that's why the transfer of power is so important in the United States. That's why Kim Jong-il set his son up to rule before he left, before he died. His son took power before that happened.
That's why I believe Kim Jong-un is currently bringing his daughter everywhere, to huge services and nuke military things.
Yeah, because transfers of power are dangerous moments in history for democracies, for dictatorships, for anything. And Trump doesn't care about that. He doesn't care about the transfer of power. When he dies, who cares, right? He doesn't. So that's the moment when democracy is going to be restored, in my opinion, when Trump dies, because he's not setting up somebody to take control on his behalf. But people like Nick Fuentes are trying to prepare for that eventuality.
People that are going to build our future for us, the people that are going to build our revival civilization, they're going to be people that need to hear a different sort of message, an uplifting message, a message that looks upward, that points upward.
Actually, I really like that chord.
For the last several weeks, Nick Fuentes has been popping off, getting millions and millions of views. Today, we're going to be watching a clip that I think perfectly illustrates why he's been popping off, why he's been blowing up on social media. So my name is Joshua Haymes. Welcome to the Daily Dose, Christian, conservative, cultural commentary, where we apply the word of God to the world around us. And let's jump into it. So I'd never really followed Nick Fuentes before. I didn't even know what he looked like before just a few weeks ago. But for the last 4 weeks, all of a sudden, maybe you've seen this, he is everywhere, all over different clips, all across different platforms. And that tells me something. All right, that tells me that his message is resonating, and it's resonating with a lot of people. So over the past 3 or 4 weeks, I've probably watched like 20 to 30 hours worth of clips from this guy.
That tells me he likes him, and that is psychotic and disturbing.
Whether it's from his show or from other commentators that are commenting on the clips from his show.
Like, remember, this guy knows Pete Hegseth and has had him on his show, and Hegseth agrees with pretty much everything that he says. Hegseth is maybe one of the most dangerous people in the country because he's so off his rocker, insane, and drunk on Jesus juice.
With the transfer of power between Trump thing, by the way, I don't think he wants to do that because I believe Trump thinks if he starts setting up a successor, then his power will, like, he won't have as much power because people are going to look to the successor since they have to prepare for Trump to be gone.
Absolutely, yes.
And he doesn't want to lose any of the power he can possibly maintain.
Right, and he hasn't even, like, named a successor to any degree. Like, he should be grooming a successor in the non-sexual way, hopefully. J.D. Vance? I don't know. Somebody. And he's not. And he's not going to, I don't believe. You have to be selfless if you really want your regime to continue. And Kim Jong-il did want his regime to continue. So he was selfless in passing the power to somebody else, who was also completely selfish and an extremist nutcase. That's why dictatorships often fall. Stalin didn't set things up to really transfer that way. Lenin did. Lenin did have somebody to set up to take control. Stalin.
When I hear about John Lennon, I just think of South Park.
I was talking about Vladimir Lenin.
Yeah, but when I hear Lennon, I think of South Park.
Okay. Anyway. The point is, Trump is not setting somebody up for this, and that's the moment when things are going to fall apart for the right and not be recoverable. Hitler actually did set up a successor, believe it or not. It was supposed to be Goering, but when Hitler, he was super depressed at the end, not coming out of the bunker, not even responding to anything, and Goering saw that and took that as his cue. It's time for me to take control, and he sent a letter to Hitler. I'm taking control of the military in 24 hours if I don't hear from you, as was planned. And Goebbels was in the bunker, received the letter, and read to Hitler, basically saying, Goering just seized control away from you. He seized control of the army, and he is now running everything. And Hitler basically put a hit out on Goering, saying he betrayed him and everything else, and it was insane. Goebbels basically just turned on Goering and tried to destroy his life for no reason. Goering was doing the right thing in that one very specific case. The point is that dictators need successors or the whole thing falls apart.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
And my conclusion, my prediction is this. Nick Fuentes is not going anywhere, all right?
I agree.
He's not just going to fade away into obscurity. He seems uncancelable, right?
Well, he was canceled, and now he's back. So if you can really only be canceled once, for the most part. If that cancellation doesn't work, that's it. Because the crowd that comes in and decides to listen to you already knows about the first cancellation and says that's not a deal breaker. You know, Donald Trump said, I want to grab women without even asking. Everybody that supports him is okay with that. They all know that. They're fine. Trump is uncancelable. Trump is uncancelable now because he was already canceled, and the people that support him are the lowest of low scumbags who are okay with grabbing women without permission. Nick Fuentes was canceled. Everyone watching him knows who he is and likes that about him.
And that is much to the chagrin of the Republican establishment. I really do believe that Nick Fuentes represents like a general direction, a mood, a general direction that our country is headed right now. These America First ideas.
They're Nazi ideas, yes.
And now this is not a blanket endorsement of the man. I actually have many moral objections with a lot of what he has to say, a lot of his message. But I think it's incredibly important for us as Christians to understand why he's blowing up. Why is he blowing up right now? Not only that, we also need to think about how Christians should respond to the meteoric rise of Nick Fuentes. So let's jump into the clip from the video.
Thomas Cruise sent $50. Comments lit you up because PPL think you backpedaled on race and nerve it about moving past anger. What's your take on that sentiment? To me, it's LARPers wanting you to be something unrealistic, while they're taking a stance normies are more willing to consider openly. I think her aware of and using the opportunity.
Sorry, why does he look like he's from a 70s rom-com?
Who, Nick Fuentes?
No,
The other dude?
Yeah.
I don't.
Or he's like a 70s coming-of-age movie about Christmas and love and happiness. Like he's smoking a pipe right now.
He's a traditionalist. He thinks
I can
the old
tell.
ways are best.
He like visually too. Usually when they say that, they don't actually mean it. But no, he like visually fully wants to go back to the 60s and 70s.
La La Land 10 tenths, by the way, Ryan Gosling is so me.
At the end of the day, when it comes to that, we can't always be trying to please the most aggrieved element. You know, it has to move past a politics of resentment. It has to be more than that. So, yeah.
Like I said, Fuentes is very intelligent and very media savvy, and I believe he's correct that if the Republican Party wants to survive, it has to move beyond the party of resentment, which is all that it is right now. That's it.
I mean, look, people are going to be upset. People are not going to get it, but my job is to lead. My job is not to fill and listen.
He's really working that pipe.
Yeah, I'm really distracted by it.
Yeah.
You know, I know that I'm on a run right now. I'm very popular right now. And what happens when you get popular for one or another thing is then people start expecting you to be a people pleaser. And I'm not here to be a people pleaser. I'm here to be a leader. That means I'm right before everybody else. That's what it means to be a leader. It means I'm right. I'm right before everybody else. It means I see the whole vision. I am going to take you to the promised land, and you're not always going to get it. And you're
Okay, I wouldn't follow someone if they were telling me that they're better than me and they're right before me and that they see everything and I don't. I feel like everything he's saying is dwindling his audience slowly.
I don't know. I think they like that kind of fascist talk, you know?
not always going to like the way it sounds. And sometimes it's a little messy or clunky or something. But, you know, I never tell you, trust me. I never say, trust me, believe me. I say, watch me work.
Yeah, I don't think this guy's inhaling the pipe. I think he's just puffing on it. Like, why are you doing that? Isn't that tobacco in there? Why are you just puffing it?
Have I ever said, no, guys, really, you need to trust me, and here's why? I say, you're with me or you're against me, but in a year, we'll see who's fucking right. I've always said that about everything. You know, in 2018, we were feuding with Richard Spencer and the right stuff, and people wanted me, oh, you got to debate Richard Spencer. I said, you know what? Let's just see where we are in a year. I said, let's just see where we are relative to each other, and we'll see who wins. You know, there's a lot of talk, and people talk, and you listen to what I say, and you form your, you know, opinion on it.
Yeah, he's correct that there are meteoric rises and then massive crashes in personality. And Richard Spencer is a nobody. No one cares now about him. Nobody even knows who he is. Do you know who he is?
No.
He was a Nazi, one of the early leaders of, well, he was the founder, I believe, of the alt-right movement. Do you know of the alt-right movement?
Yeah.
It's basically the Nazi movement. And do you remember a while back there was discussion about whether we should punch Nazis?
Yeah.
That was him. He was the Nazi that was punched. Point is, yeah, Richard Spencer was the Nazi, and he is just completely faded into obscurity now. Sign up for my Patreon. I'd really appreciate that very much. It would mean so much to me. This is like a really precarious moment in history, in U.S. history, and for me personally, so it would mean a lot if you sign up for my Patreon. Check out cultarchive.org. I did a cult test, basically, where you can see if you're in a cult. And you can look at the historical tests of other groups that already went through this. Also, check out my merch. I have a whole bunch of really cool shirts and stuff. Really interesting. I would really appreciate that.
Even though you know half of what I know for the most part. I always say, don't believe me, don't trust me. I don't need you to believe me or trust me. I need you to watch me work. I will act, you will react. I will act, I will drive the conversation. You will be left a year later wondering how I predicted it. I will tell you the future today. I will pick apart the things that are incomprehensibly complex to you. You will watch, you will listen, you will react. And
wait, what is incomprehensibly complex?
in a year, you will say, how did he get it? How did he predict it a year in advance? How does he know all this? You will be left wondering. So,
I mean, Nick Fuentes is very media savvy. I see all of this. I'm very media savvy as well. I see all of the things that Nick Fuentes is doing, and I know all of the reasons he has for doing those things. And he does make predictions that come true because he sees how the media landscape kind of operates as well. He's not the only one out there that understands it. But it is his job, like it's my job. So he probably is more aware of like the media landscape than most other people.
you know, when I say what I say about race, which is we have to move beyond grievance and bitterness, if you take that as backpedaling, it shows you really don't understand what we're about.
Okay, first observation, we'll do this really quick. He is moving past the politics of resentment. That's the first reason that I think he's blowing up. And secondly, you can just watch the way that he communicates. Look at his rhetoric skills. He is incredibly confident. He's incredibly charismatic, and he is positioning himself as a leader. And he's not a...
Yep, that's correct.
Charismatic was such a word to use there after he told us that he's better than all of us and knows more.
Right. That is something that people with charisma can get away with. And if you're unfamiliar with him, yeah, this is a recent clip from him. This one is from September 9th, 2025.
I'm a new generation of white person. I'm not living around blacks. Sorry. You know,
So an old generation?
I want white kids, and I don't want my white kids bringing home black people to marry. It's racial for me. And call me racist. Oh, very Christian of you. I don't give a f***.
That is racist of you. That is not very Christian of you. But he doesn't care, I guess.
Rising for anything. I think men, especially men right now, are looking for other men who will grow a spine and lead out with conviction. Okay. Now, like I said, I have some strong disagreements with many of his views.
No, I haven't heard any yet. Are you going to lay some down for us?
But you can't watch that and...
No, I guess he's not going to lay any down for us. You know why? Because he's encouraging people to follow Nick Fuentes with this, and he doesn't want to draw attention to the vile things that he says, like, it's racial for me. I hate black people, for example.
Say, okay, you can't watch that and deny that he's got charisma. He's got spunk. You can see why people want to follow him. He's saying, look at me, just watch me work. I'm not asking you to trust me. That's huge. He's saying, I'm going to get up and do it. Okay, so that charisma draws people in, and I think what's really going on here, one of the big reasons he's blowing up is because he's saying, I'm going to move past the politics of resentment. He's reading the room. He's saying there's all of these influencers right now that are making their name by stoking that resentment, being, oh, you're so oppressed, young white man. Oh, the boomers have destroyed your life. Oh, and he engaged in that, but he's moving past that. Why? Because he's seeing the rotten fruit from that. He's seeing that it's literally just stoking resentment and division, and he's saying we need to move past that. I'm going to say this...
Right. Resentment and division is not going to lead to a prosperous society. It's the bottom line. And that's everything that the Republican Party is built on. So Fuentes is trying to build a new political party that can step in when Trump is gone. And that should concern us. I don't think we really need to worry about MAGA as much anymore as we have in the past, because Trump, you know, he's not going to be here forever, and the head of the Hydra is going to be removed when Trump is gone, and they're going to be aimless. They're going to be looking for somewhere to go, a partyless group of people, and Fuentes is going to try to vacuum up all of their attention. Anyway, disturbing stuff. Tell me what you think about it in the comments. We may watch this entire thing on my Unfiltered channel, Wednesday and Thursdays, 10:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. if you want to watch with me. Tell me your thoughts. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Check this clip out. This is on the House floor, a guy talking about who sponsored the No Kings protest.
All these rallies are going to be led by the far left activists, and all will be calling on the Democrats to keep the government closed.
No, nobody's calling for the Democrats to keep the government closed. Literally nobody. Everybody wants the government to open. We just don't want to lose health care. Republicans control the House, the Senate, the judiciary, and the executive branch. What do you want from us? It's the right's problem, not the left.
And the Democrats in this body are beholden to every single one of these far left activist groups, groups like, quote, hashtag resist Trump and American Atheists.
Oh boy, they're calling out American Atheists. Honestly, my wife is a lawyer for American Atheists and does not want, I mean, I certainly don't want like this massive national extremist movement targeted toward American atheists, but they were a sponsor of the No Kings protest, which I'm very proud of. This is on the Friendly Atheist website, friendlyatheist.com. Senator John Barrasso targets American atheists in bizarre smear of No Kings protests. During a speech on the Senate floor Thursday, Majority Whip John Barrasso lashed out against the No Kings rallies taking place today. So I guess this was this was October 18th when this came out. Like so many other Republicans, unable to live in reality, he falsely described the planned peaceful protests as an I Hate America rally. But in the middle of his speech, he called out one group in particular as leading the charge, American Atheists, which is absurd. Again, they were a sponsor. They were one of like many, first of all. And second, I just want to give you guys a little bit of hope here. The April 5th Hands Off protest had between 3 and 5 million protesters. That is a lot. That is a lot of protesters. The June 14th No Kings protest had 5 million people. That's insane. And October 18th No Kings, 7 million people. Holy Christ on a cracker, bro. That's nuts. That is the largest protest in U.S. history. What's more, between June and October, not only did they maintain the same number of protesters, they grew by a lot. That is impressive. That's incredible. That is a fantastically good sign. It means that there is massive political engagement and that it's not tapering off as time goes on. It's getting more substantial. Maintaining the same number of protesters for a protest is an uphill battle. It's nearly impossible. And they grew. The largest right-wing protest in the United States happened, I believe, in 2019, and they had about 350,000 people compared to 7 million people. It was a right-to-life, pro-life march or whatever. The runner-up was also in 2019 for the left, which is the Women's March. I believe they had 3.3 million protesters. Largest coordinated global protest on a single day. On February 15th, 2003, protesters gathered in nearly 600 cities worldwide in a coordinated effort against the U.S. invasion of Iraq. Wow, I did not know that. Between 6 and 10 million people participated globally, with some estimates suggesting 10 to 15 million, making this potentially the largest single-day protest in history. Major protests that day included 3 million from Rome, 1.5 million from Madrid, 750,000 and 2 million people from London. I'm sorry, between 750,000 and 2 million from London. The largest single-day protest in U.S. history was the No Kings protest. So we might have, depending on how it's measured, the No Kings protest, that might have beaten any protest in the entire world in world history ever, and how big it was. We're rivaling it at the very least as a single country, rivaling world protests. That is incredible. It should inspire hope that people aren't putting up with this. Holy, I don't believe that there's any chance at all that Republicans are going to come out the other side in a free and fair election, even in a slightly rigged election. I don't think there's any way these people keep their seats. I think Democrats are going to absolutely sweep the board, even in a slightly rigged election. And I don't think Trump can do more than slightly rig it because it's run by the states. I think he's going to have a hard time fully rigging it.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
Anyway, let's keep reading here. This is news to me. I had no idea American Atheists had the kind of power over elected Democrats. Of course, that's because it's not true. Breaking news, Republicans lie. American Atheists isn't a far-left group. They're not leading the rallies, and I assure you Democrats are not beholden to them. If only atheists had that kind of political power. I actually went to D.C. and lobbied on behalf of American Atheists one time, long ago. It was for the Reason Rally. The Reason Rally, that's what it was. I believe in 2016, maybe. They held the Reason rally there in D.C., and they had a lobbying day where we all went and visited our personal representatives and told them that they should recognize atheists as a legitimate voting bloc. Here's what probably happened. The website for the rally lists dozens and dozens of nonprofit groups who are considered partners. These are groups who simply support the mission of the march, which is to say this country does not belong to kings, dictators, or tyrants. It belongs to we the people who care, who show up, and the ones who fight for dignity, a life we can afford, and real opportunity. Partners include the ACLU, the American Humanist Association, Americans United for Separation of Church and State, and the Freedom from Religion Foundation, as well as much, much larger groups like Planned Parenthood and the Sierra Club. I'm not familiar with the Sierra Club. Oh, it's like an eco-friendly climate change organization, apparently. Largest and most influential grassroots environmental organization in the country. All right, cool. I'm in. They have no role in organizing, much less leading the marches. They just support the mission, that's all. So when Barrasso was fear-mongering and trying to scare Americans into thinking this is some kind of anti-American march, his staff probably went through and found the scariest names they could think of. And all they could find was a group that openly resists Trump, as if that's a bad thing, and the only group with atheists in the name. Yeah, American Atheist has a rough name to overcome, but, atheists need representation too. They could probably get a lot more influential if they changed their name, but I don't think that they need to, The Satanic Temple truly missed a golden opportunity here, right? I asked American Atheist President Nick Fish what he thought about getting called out, and he just laughed. He told me, the simple presence of atheists to some of these people is viewed as un-American. There's nothing more American than protesting our leaders and demanding better. Absolutely. In a more formal statement sent to me last night, American Atheists said, Senator Barrasso's attacks on the No Kings rally are shameful and un-American. Portraying American atheists as radical or extreme in an attempt to discredit one of the largest popular mobilizations of opposition to authoritarian abuses in history is transparent, unvarnished white Christian nationalism. Barrasso and his ilk are desperate to divide us and portray us as the other, but the people who are turning out and demanding better represent the best of what it means to be an American. People of conscience from all different faiths, including the non-religious, LGBTQ groups, environmental advocates, and veterans. That's who's showing up this weekend. There's nothing extreme about opposing the authoritarian overreach of the Trump administration, and the only thing that's dangerous or un-American is sitting silently while masked government thugs kidnap our neighbors off the street, criminalize basic health care for LGBTQ people, and attack those of us who would dare speak out. American Atheists is proud to stand in solidarity with the 250-plus No Kings partners, with organizers of the 2,500 rallies happening in all 50 states and the District of Columbia, and with the millions of Americans who are demanding better from our government. Dissent is not just patriotic, it is our duty. The first of these No Kings rallies occurred a few months ago. That was in June, and there's nothing scary about it. It was joyous and peaceful and funny, with attendees full of warranted anger against an out-of-control administration. I attended a local one and had a great time. And he has a sign that says, "Hey, Trump, nobody paid me to be here. I hate you for free." The fact that Republican leaders are now claiming these rallies are made up of unpatriotic traitors is absurd, considering the people attending include scientists, wine moms, grandmas, college students, and your goddamn neighbors. The point is that they're looking for any avenue they can take to demonize the protest, and they've decided to come after American atheists. It's a joke. It's sad. It's a sad joke. It's not a very funny joke. Disturbing, because I'm affiliated with that group. And I think, when Trump comes for the media more than he already is, which is absolutely on the horizon, I'm sure of it, I'm at risk. So is my wife. So is everybody in my circle. It's concerning stuff. Anyway, tell me what you think about it in the comments. We'll be right back. Don't forget to check out my Patreon. Also, take a look at my website, owenmorgan.com. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Awesome. How's it going?
Pretty good. This isn't really a question. I just wanted to say this, hoping that with your platform, more people are able to help out. With the fact that there will be probably no food stamps next month, and more families needing food pantries and all, is people can either donate money, food, or time to food pantries and churches and places like that, because a lot of people are lucky if they can even get a meal a day.
Yeah,
As
I
someone
agree.
who's on disability, and my husband, who I take care of, and we often choose between meds and food. And I see a lot of my neighbors, because we're in rural Missouri, so you can imagine we don't get crap from anyone.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, you know, they're either elderly or they have children, or they're elderly taking care of their grandchildren and great-grandchildren and trying to come up with, you know, anything to feed them. And the other thing we teach at our food pantry is rice and beans is the most complete, nutritious meal you can get for the price. It's the cheapest for the most complete nutrition. And adding whatever you do have in it is good, but just having dry beans and rice on hand in case you suddenly don't have a job that Friday, you're not getting a check. What will you eat? You know, do you have that on hand kind of thing? It can help people, you know, in an emergency. And
Yeah, I appreciate
really
that.
cheap to
and
get.
It is important,
And
definitely. It's an important message.
I've been trying to
because-
spread that message everywhere, and I just thought, hey, phone, I'm going to go call, you know?
Yeah.
And I had to hang up earlier because my crazy dog and cat and other cat, they started going after somebody. I don't know. We
Okay,
have
no
6
sweat.
female cats and a female dog.
That is a lot.
So-
Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
I appreciate the comments, and I'm going to remark on it in just a minute. But give me a call again next time, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Bye, Owen. Appreciate the show. Love you. Bye.
It's good to be aware that there are food pantries, especially now that the government is shut down. People are not getting, you know, food stamps or anything. Really, really not good. And they keep trying to pin this on Democrats. It's just not going to work. I'm sorry. It just isn't. It's definitely not the Democrats' fault. This whole thing is not the Democrats' fault. It's the Republicans' fault. And as Bernie Sanders said very recently, they're not taking calls. Republicans are not answering calls or calling the Democrats. It's clear as day, Republicans' fault. What they are doing right now led to the shutdown and is leading to the continued shutdown, in part because of the Epstein files. They are making people suffer because they don't want to take that vote on the Epstein files being released. Disgusting. People are suffering terribly. And the little bit of solace that I can take in the suffering is that it's going to lead to more political mobilization so that maybe this doesn't happen in the future. I just don't know how to dig our way out of this. But when we get out, these people are going to be in bad shape for what they've done to the country. Can't spell hatred without red hat. That's true. That's another good sign for the No Kings protest.
By the way, guys, check out my new shop, owenmorgan.com/shop. I have a bunch of really cool designs on there.
Yeah, here's a clip that I found on the subject. Check this
Senator
out.
Bobby Harms is joining us. She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right. There we go.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
So, kind of blaming Democrats for the shutdown.
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side. If you are, or you're a Republican congresswoman, you're going to go back to your district and people are going to say to you, why are you doubling my insurance premiums? Why did you throw me off of health care? That's a fight that Republicans are not going to win.
Well, and to Bobby's question, Representative, earlier you said that House Speaker Mike Johnson said he wants this shutdown to be one of the longest in history. I believe he said it could be one of the longest in history. He was saying that more of a warning about how long it could go on. I don't think it was a threat. But I do think people want to know how long they should brace for this to potentially go on for. Do you think by Thanksgiving the government could still be shut down?
I mean, I would certainly hope not. I would certainly hope not. My hope is that we're able to resolve this as quickly as possible. I'm ready to negotiate. Bernie's ready to negotiate. I mean, we are all open and ready to.
Is anyone actually negotiating right now?
No, but
let's hear from Republicans.
Let me reiterate one point. Republicans aren't in town. How do you negotiate with people who refuse even to show up to do their job? They're on vacation for what, a month ago?
Yes. House Republicans have been on vacation for over.
But the Republican senators are here, and House Speaker Mike Johnson, we've had him on. He said, we've done our job. We passed the clean CR in the House. It's now up to the Senate to make these negotiations.
They need to pick up a phone, Caitlin. They need to pick up a phone. They're saying that they're doing all this work. They are twiddling their thumbs and talking to each other. It is actually an unconscionable abdication and refusal to work. They refuse. I've never seen people who hate working so much in my life.
Yeah, they're just not picking up the phone is the point. They're not calling, they're not working with people because they don't care at the end of the day. For the government shutdown to end, that would mean the House needs to come into session, which means the Epstein file release comes to a vote, which means the newly elected Democrat is sworn in, which means that the shutdown will probably come to an end. They just don't want that. They don't want it. There's no upside to them, so they're just going to let millions of people suffer. They don't care. They're cancel-proof now. Trump is, at least. Oh, they're cancel-proof for the moment, at the very least. They're just ready to burn everything to the ground. They just don't care. We're coming up on Christmas time now. People are going to be suffering terribly as a direct result of what Republicans are doing. They, as a party, are whacked. They are whacked. There is no way they come out of this situation with their seats, in my opinion. We're in a moment of disturbing history. There is absolutely no way that they come out of this with their political careers intact. Every single one of these people are going to fall like dominoes. They're going to drop out of their races because they're going to be so completely destroyed in their elections. Just wait and see. Mark my words. That's how it's going to play out. Tell me what you think in the comments. That's all I've got for you. If you like what I do and you want to see me continue to do it, don't forget to check me out on Patreon. I just finished writing a book titled Was Hitler an Atheist? It talks about religions during the Third Reich and how they work together. Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Protestants. And I even address the lies told by the evangelical world about Bonhoeffer. It's on Audible and Amazon. Okay, thanks for watching, guys.